What if I told you there was a near zero risk investment that could pay a 9.6% annual return, had no early withdrawal fee, avoided state and local income taxes, and had almost no limit on how much you can invest? You may think it's too good to be true, but that's what the USI bonds have offered, as shown here on the Barron's website. We'll start by looking at the main features of I-bonds and Treasury inflation-protected securities, better known as TIPS, and how they both work with examples. Then, in the next part, we'll look at their main advantages and disadvantages, and how to determine which is best for you. Before we start, this is not financial advice. Both are designed to help preserve purchasing power, and the US government backs them. So, how are they different? They differ in how interest is paid, liquidity, tax treatment, purchase limits, and suitability for different types of investors. At a high level, both I-bonds and TIPS are meant to prevent inflation from taking away the real value of your savings. Inflation reduces purchasing power over time. A bond yielding 3% may sound attractive, but if inflation is running at 4%, the investor is falling behind in real terms. That's where inflation-linked Treasury securities come in, as I-bonds protect against inflation by adjusting the interest rate. Also, TIPS protect against inflation by adjusting the principal value. Next, we'll look at what Series I bonds are and how they work. They are US savings bonds issued by the Department of the Treasury and give both safety and inflation protection. What makes I-bonds unique is their return structure. Instead of paying a single fixed rate like a traditional bond, they combine a fixed interest rate set at issuance that doesn't change. In addition to the fixed rate, they also have a variable rate which is adjusted every 6 months based on the Consumer Price Index. But how exactly do they work? Firstly, you must be aware that I-bonds cannot be bought or sold in the secondary market. Once purchased, they must be held with the Treasury until redemption. They earn interest using a composite rate, which is a combination of the fixed rate and inflation rate. The inflation rate is updated twice every 12 months in May and November, based on changes in CPI, as we went through earlier. The fixed rate is also set by the Treasury every 6 months for new purchases. Once assigned to your bond, it remains constant for up to 30 years. Next, let's look at the composite rate formula. The return on an I-bond is calculated using the fixed rate plus the semi-annual inflation rate multiplied by 2. You then add that figure to the fixed rate multiplied by the semi-annual inflation rate. Don't worry if that sounds complicated. You just need to know the basic principle behind the formula, which is that even if inflation turns negative, the composite rate cannot fall below 0%. That built-in floor is one of the most attractive features of I-bonds because it guarantees the bond will never produce a negative return. Key features of I-bonds include a total maturity of 30 years, with a 20-year original term plus a 10-year extension. To help explain, think of an I-bond as a 30-year savings contract with the government that has 2 phases. The first phase allows you to cash out any time after the first 12 months, but there's a 3-month interest penalty if you cash out before 5 years. Then, after 20 years, the bond matures, meaning it has reached the end of its term. After that, if you have not already cashed out the bond by year 20, it automatically goes into a 10-year extension. Basically, you are aiming to invest for up to 30 years, however the government only guarantees it will work for 20 years plus an optional 10-year extension. The next major thing to be aware of is that there is a minimum purchase of $25 electronically or $50 in paper form via tax refund. Meanwhile, the annual purchase limit is $10,000 electronically and $5,000 through paper per person. Interest accrues monthly and compounds semi-annually. Because interest is not paid out in cash, I-bonds function more like a compounding savings account than an income-producing bond. Next, we'll look at the key advantages of I-bonds. Firstly, they offer strong inflation protection because the variable rate rises with inflation, helping investors preserve purchasing power. Secondly, they have government-backed safety, which means they carry minimal default risk. Next, the interest is exempt from state and local taxes, and federal taxes can be deferred until redemption. They also have a guaranteed non-negative return, meaning the composite rate cannot fall below 0 even in deflationary periods. And lastly, they have automatic compounding as interest is added to the bond's value, so future interest is earned on both principal and past interest. Next, we'll look at the key disadvantages. Firstly, they have limited liquidity and have to be held for at least a year. Secondly, you get an early redemption penalty. If you redeem within the first 5 years, you will lose the last 3 months of interest. I bonds have annual purchase limits, which cap how much investors can allocate. Also, there is no secondary market, meaning they cannot be traded, which reduces flexibility. And finally, they typically have lower return potential because they are designed for protection and savings. While they can offer rates of 9.6%, as we saw in 2022, this is uncommon, and rates are often around 4 or 5% in recent years. They are not high-growth long-term investments like equities. Next, we'll briefly look at the tax treatment of I bonds. They offer tax advantages as the interest is exempt from state and local taxes, but it is taxed at the federal level. Also, taxes can be avoided until redemption if using the cash method. This means you can let your investment grow over time and pay taxes only when you sell the bond. This simple tax deferral is one reason many smaller investors prefer I bonds. As always, please remember this is not financial advice and always check current laws. Next, we'll look at what TIPS are. They are a type of government bond introduced in 1997 to protect investors from inflation. Unlike traditional Treasury bonds, they adjust both their principal value and their interest payments based on inflation. That makes them different from nominal bonds, in which both the principal and the coupon payments remain fixed. For investors concerned about rising living costs, TIPS offer a built-in mechanism to maintain purchasing power over time. At the core of TIPS is one key mechanism: inflation adjustment. The principal value of a TIPS bond rises or falls with changes in inflation, as measured by the CPI. If inflation rises, the principal increases, and if inflation falls, the principal decreases. However, at maturity, investors are guaranteed to receive at least their original principal back, even if deflation has occurred. TIPS also pay interest every 6 months, but unlike nominal Treasury bonds, those interest payments are based on the inflation-adjusted principal. That means that when inflation rises, your principal and coupon payments rise as well. Now, let's look at an example to help you understand TIPS in practice. Suppose you invest $100 in a TIPS bond with a 1% annual coupon. If inflation is 0%, you earn $1 for the year. But if inflation rises 2%, your principal will then increase to $102. So now your interest is calculated on $102 instead of $100, which gives you $2. This process helps preserve purchasing power. Here are the essential features of TIPS you should be aware of. Firstly, maturities are in 3 main durations: 5, 10, or 30 years, and the coupon rate is fixed at issuance. The original amount you invested, also called your principal, adjusts for inflation, and your original investment is paid back fully, even if deflation occurs. Interest payments are semi-annual. Also, the market is highly liquid, and unlike I bonds, they are tradable in secondary markets through brokers, exchange-traded funds, and mutual funds. Next, we'll look at the main advantages of TIPS. Firstly, the principal and income both rise with inflation, and they are very safe investments as the US government covers them. Secondly, they provide semi-annual interest payments, making them more useful for income-focused investors. Liquidity is high, and you can buy or sell them in the secondary market, unlike I bonds. If you're learning something new, please consider clicking the like button and subscribing so you don't miss out on more videos like this. Next, you have diversification away from stocks and nominal bonds during inflationary periods. And lastly, purchase limits are very high. Individual investors can buy up to $10 million per auction, making them much easier to use in larger portfolios. Remember, I bonds have an annual limit of only $10,000, but there are also many disadvantages you must be aware of. The first downside is that you usually have lower yields than regular Treasury bonds. Secondly, they can complicate your tax returns, as inflation adjustments to the principal investment are taxable each year, even though the investor does not receive that money until maturity or sale. Next, you have market price risk, particularly when real interest rates rise. Also, during deflationary periods, principal and interest payments can temporarily decline. And lastly, there's an opportunity cost as they are considered defensive investments, meaning they often lag higher growth assets over time. Let's quickly review the tax treatment of TIPS. They are exempt from state and local taxes just like I bonds. But federal taxation is more complicated as it applies to the semi-annual interest payments and the inflation adjustment to your principal investment. This creates phantom income, which means investors may owe taxes on gains they have not yet received in cash. Because of that, they are often better suited for tax-advantaged accounts such as IRAs or 401ks. The most important distinction lies in how inflation is applied. I bonds adjust the interest rate. When inflation is high, the interest rate or the percentage you earn goes up. However, TIPS have a fixed interest rate when you buy them. So instead, the principal or face value of the bond is adjusted higher or lower based on the consumer price index. Both approaches preserve purchasing power, but in different ways. This is one of the biggest real-world differences between I-bonds and TIPS, and it often determines which one fits better in a portfolio. I-bonds do not provide investors with any regular income. Instead, the interest builds up internally within the bond over time, compounding quietly in the background. You receive that interest only when you redeem the bond, so there is no ongoing cash flow during the holding period. TIPS work very differently. They pay interest every 6 months, creating a steady and predictable stream of income. This makes them much more suitable for investors who rely on regular payments, such as retirees, or those funding living expenses from their portfolio. Because of this, TIPS tend to suit income-focused investors, while I-bonds are generally better aligned with long-term accumulation and capital growth. While TIPS are more appropriate for income-focused investors, I-bonds are generally better for long-term accumulation. Liquidity is another major difference which significantly affects how you use each investment in practice. I-bonds are not tradable in any market. Once you purchase them, you must hold them for at least 12 months. TIPS, on the other hand, are tradable in the secondary market. You can buy or sell them at any time through a brokerage account, giving you much greater flexibility in managing your portfolio. However, this flexibility comes with a trade-off because their prices fluctuate with interest rates and market conditions. They offer more flexibility but face market price risk, while I-bonds avoid this because they are not traded, so their value does not fluctuate in the market. Next, we'll look at key differences in yields and the risks you must be aware of. I-bonds often offer attractive inflation-adjusted yields, and their returns are stable and predictable. There is no exposure to market price movements, so you always know your investment is growing steadily over time. TIPS behave more like traditional bonds than other market instruments. Their yields depend on prevailing market conditions, and their prices fluctuate with changes in interest rates. This means investors can experience gains or losses before maturity, even in periods of high inflation. For example, TIPS declined significantly in 2022 because rising interest rates pushed bond prices lower, even as inflation was elevated during that period. This highlights an important lesson. Inflation protection does not eliminate interest rate risk. The government backs I-bonds and TIPS, so default risk is extremely low. However, they differ a lot in other types of risk. I-bonds are not subject to market price volatility, making them stable. However, they have limited liquidity and strict purchase caps, which can create opportunity costs if you want to invest more capital elsewhere. However, TIPS are subject to market volatility. Their prices can fall when interest rates rise, leading investors to incur losses. So, which is best for you? Well, the answer depends on many factors. However, I'll give you most of the major ones to consider. I-bonds are better suited for investors focused on protecting against inflation without taking on market risk. They also appeal to those who prefer stability over flexibility. Smaller investors who want predictable growth often find I-bonds to be a strong fit. Meanwhile, TIPS are often a better fit for investors who need income and flexibility. This includes retirees or near retirees who require inflation-adjusted cash flow, as well as conservative investors focused on preserving purchasing power over time. They are also well suited for long-term investors with larger portfolios. Additionally, investors using retirement accounts or fund-based strategies often prefer TIPS because they are readily accessible through funds and ETFs. Next, we'll briefly look at how to buy them. I-bonds can only be purchased through the Treasury Direct website. To buy them online, you need to create an account, provide your personal and banking details, select your investment amount, and confirm the transaction. TIPS offer more flexibility in how they can be purchased. You can buy them directly through Treasury Direct, through a bank or brokerage account, or indirectly through mutual funds and exchange-traded funds. Using funds and exchange-traded funds makes them easier to access and diversify. However, this also introduces management fees and additional price fluctuations. For many investors, the most practical approach is not choosing one over the other, but understanding how each fits into a broader strategy. I-bonds can act as a stable, long-term inflation hedge for smaller amounts, while TIPS are better suited for large allocations and for income. When used strategically, they can complement each other within a diversified investment portfolio. If you need help understanding anything from the video, leave a comment and I'll be sure to reply. Please consider clicking the like button and subscribing because it helps. You'll find this video very useful to watch next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.